Hello and warm greetings to all. Welcome to our webinar where today we are speaking on EPR Annual Return Filing on the EPR E-waste and Plastic Portal. I am Yugandhara moderating the session today. The annual returns are approaching and looking at the timeline, I'm sure everyone must be curious about completing the filings as early as possible. Here we are today focusing on annual return filing process under both e-waste and plastic waste management rules. Today's voices are Bharat Gaggar, who comes with 3+ years of experience in EPR and excels in plastic, e-waste, and battery waste management rules. Ishika Sisodia, with 3+ years of hands-on experience in EPR, with a solid foundation in plastics, which seamlessly aligns with industry demands. Ipsita Roy, an environmental expert with 8+ years of experience in the domains of EPR and ESG. Now, let me come back quickly to brief you all on today's agenda. First, latest updates in e-waste management rules 2022, EPR annual return filing under e-waste management rules 2022, EPR annual return filing under plastic waste management rules 2016, and lastly, Q&A session with our experts, Mr. Abhishek Garg and Mr. Sujayan Jain. Before we start, I request your kind attention to the meeting rules. The meeting will be recorded. Please note that our conversation will be confined exclusively on data uploading on the EPR Plastic Portal. Note that all attendees are on mute. To speak, please use the raise hand feature. The moderator shall unmute and allow to speak in the Q&A round. Kindly introduce yourself and your organization briefly and ask your question. In view of time limitations, we would request all to avoid repetitive questions. Without further ado, I welcome our first speaker for today's session, Ipsita Roy.
Thank you, Yugandhara, for setting up the context. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. I'll be taking up the regulatory notification updates which were recently released under the e-waste management rules. The first notification about the release of the instruction sheet for the producers, guiding them on how to file the quarterly and annual returns. Second instruction sheet, which was also released on the same date, 29th of January, guiding the recyclers on filing the quarterly and annual returns. The third notification was in relation to the obligated entities under the e-waste management rules, which was released on 17th of May 2024. This particular notification guided on the extension of timeline for filing the annual returns for FY 23-24 till June 30, 2024.
Thank you, Yugandhara, for the introduction. Hello and good afternoon, everyone. I'll be taking you through the annual return filing process under e-waste management rules. The filing consists of 4 steps: the uploading details of sales, the fulfillment of EPR obligation through EPR credits, reporting of the awareness activities conducted, and quarterly and annual return filings. Next slide, please. We shall now see the sales reporting process on the e-waste portal. To report the sales data, we will first need to navigate on the Sales Data Entry tab, click on the Add New button, and upload the details of items sold throughout the financial year. Please note, it is recommended to upload the combined sales data in a quarterly level for smooth filing of annual returns. Next slide, please. To save the hassle of manual data uploading, A2G has come up with a unique solution known as EPR Sync, which can automatically upload the sales entries for you. We shall now have a look at the demo of the tool. Upon installation, you need to click on the Open browser and initiate your login process by entering the email address, password, CAPTCHA, and the OTP. After successfully logging in, a pop-up will prompt you to choose the data you want to upload. We will now be uploading the data. As you can see, the data is being uploaded automatically by EPR Sync. Now we will see how we can scrap the data using the scrap data function for the activity. Next slide, please. Let us now see the procurement of EPR credits. To procure the EPR credits, we need to navigate to the home page where we can see the list of recyclers along with the EPR credits available to them. We now need to click on the label icon as seen on the screen and then request for the quantity of EPR credits. Please note that along with the request, you will need to upload a purchase order for each specific request and click on the save button. Alternatively, you can also procure EPR credits by externally contacting the PWPs or the recyclers registered under the E-waste CPCB portal. Next slide, please. We now come to the annual return filing process. It is a detailed 8-step process which starts with the generation of report for a particular quarter. Please note all the quarterly reports are to be filed in a chronological way before filing the final annual report. Next slide, please. The basic details tab in the form is auto-fetched from the data that was filled during the time of registration. Here we can see the summary related to the producer's obligation and fulfillment of specific metal level categories. Now here you can review the target, the achieved obligation, the balance or extra quantity if any available to you. Next slide, please. In the awareness section, you will need to upload the details of the awareness activities conducted throughout the period. You can see here that you need to upload the details of the seminars and workshops conducted throughout the year, the target audience, the frequency of conducting the workshops, and the proposed advertisement channel that was for the workshop or the seminar. Next slide, please. Here you need to upload the supporting documents for the awareness activities conducted and click on Save and Next. Next slide, please. In case you are a producer related to the solar panel, then you will have to upload additional details on the solar storage target of the solar panel as presented on the screen. Next slide, please. Once all the details are filled, you shall click on Submit and file your annual return. Again, please note that similar activity needs to be performed for all the 4 quarters in a chronological way before filing of the final annual return. Thank you.
Thank you, Bharat. Now I invite Ishika Sisudia to show how annual return filing works under PWMR.
Hi, thank you, Yugandhra, for setting up the brief. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the webinar. Thank you for taking out time to attend the webinar. As Yugandhra mentioned, I will brief you upon the successful annual return filing steps. As for the filing of annual return for FY 23-24, there are 3 key steps that must be ensured. First of all, which is uploading the procurement and the sale transactions along with all of the invoices for FY 23-24. Second is the credit utilization and the target adjustment as applicable to producers. And third is the reporting of the plastic packaging introduced in the market in FY 23-24 at the state and category level. An important highlight here is that the annual return for FY 23-24 is to be filed by 30th June, and currently there is no extension in the timeline from CPC. Once we have completed the following 3 steps, we move on to the annual report page. As you can see in the section 4 of the annual report, you can see the summary of the procurement details and the sale details that you have uploaded onto the portal. You will also be able to track the EPR credits you have utilized for the annual reporting in the section 5. Finally, in the section 6, you will be able to see the next year EPR targets that are auto-generated by the portal based on the EPR consumption details that you have reported for FY 23-24. Now, moving on to the next slide, we shall discuss the transaction reporting details. For transaction reporting, the 3 entities that is the brand owner, producer, and the importer, has to report their purchase and the sale details in this matrix. If a brand owner is dealing with only the registered entities, then they do not have to upload any details. They will just have to upload the consumption details properly. For producers, if they are dealing with the registered suppliers, then the procurement details can be auto-fetched. However, they will still have to report the sale details and the procurement details from the unregistered suppliers onto the portal. Similarly, for importers, they will have to upload all of the details, either be it the procurement or the sale transactions, onto the portal for FY 23-24. Please note that all of these details and the transactions are to be reported at the invoice level, and the SOPs are there to take care of the processes. Next slide, please. Now, when we say about the transaction uploading onto the portal, these are the details that you need to upload onto the portal while reporting the transactions on the EPR portal. First is the case of unregistered suppliers, where the transactions on the where you will have to upload approximately 16 plus data points along with all of the invoices. However, in case of the registered suppliers, you will not have to upload any entries. You can just auto-fetch the details using the EPR e-invoice number. Now, on to the next slide. Next slide, please. Now, on to the next slide. We have demonstrated all of the details that you need to capture while uploading the transaction details. You need to capture all of these data points for a single entry. Merge it with the invoice, convert it into a PDF, and then upload it onto the portal. A very tedious task. To smoothen and speed up this process of transaction here at A2G, we have developed a tool which will help you in seamless upload of the sales and procurement data. Can we move on to the next slide? This is the EPR Sync tool, and this is how it works. EPR Sync tool will automatically open the browser, log in, and automatically upload the details onto the portal. EPR Sync offers many features like refining the upload files, merging the invoices, and more. It also has many benefits like automatic data upload onto the EPR portal, portal data download to check whether the entries are uploaded or not. It can also download the details for you, and it can save a lot of time, manual hours, and costs. We have provided a detailed walkthrough of this process in our last workshop. If you have missed our last workshop on the sales and procurement data upload, then you can visit our YouTube channel. Here is the link to our last workshop on the sales and procurement data upload onto the EPR portal. See, all of the details have been uploaded onto the portal automatically. It saves your time. For more details, you can contact our team. Once the uploading process completes, we move on to the next step of plastic packaging consumption reporting. The plastic packaging consumption for PIBO is basically the post-consumer combined with the pre-consumer, further combined with the export if applicable. Pre-consumer is basically the plastic packaging or discard or reject which is generated at your production facility. And post-consumer is the plastic packaging sent out into the environment along with the product. For reporting the plastic packaging consumption on the portal, you will have to go to the state-wise plastic waste generation tab. Next slide, please. As you can see, after going on to the state-wise plastic consumption tab, generation tab, you can select the add data, select the relevant state, and enter all of the relevant quantities for post-consumer, pre-consumer, and export. You can also add quantities of recycled content if applicable, and then hit the submit button to upload the entries. Once all of the data is submitted for state-wise, we will now have to upload the annual consumption. Next slide, please. For uploading the annual consumption, you will have to go on to the annual consumption tab, select the add data button, enter the consolidated enter the consolidated quantities for the pre-consumer, post-consumer, category-wise, and hit the submit button to upload those quantities. Can we move on to the next slide? Once all of this data reporting is complete, we come to a very crucial point, which is consumption validation. As outlined by CPCB, the difference between the procurement and consumption cannot exceed beyond 20%. As the table demonstrates, the consumption is 80 and the procurement is 100. If we apply the formula, which is sales upon procurement minus 1, the deviation comes to 20%, which is acceptable. Please note that last year, the initial deviation percentage was 20. However, it was exceeded to 40% for the relaxation later on. CPCB has not commented on exceeding the relaxation this year as well. And hence, we recommend you to consider the validation percent as 20 and prepare your data accordingly. Next slide, please. Once we have all of the details, which is the uploading of the procurement and sales, the packaging consumption upload, and the data validation in place, we move on to the final part, which is the EPR credit utilization and target adjustment. Next slide, please. So for the EPR target, you will have to procure your EPR credits from the registered PWPs only. Here is given the link, which will redirect you to a page which will list out all of the plastic waste processes which are registered onto the EPR portal. Next slide, please. Now here comes the wallet. Whatever credits you are procuring from the registered PWPs, you can see the summary onto the wallet itself. You can see the detailed summary in the tab below. You can see the category-wise summary here. For category 1, you can see the credits here. You can also see the credits that you're procuring. Either they are recycling credits or the end-of-life credits. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yes. Now, once we have the sufficient credits that are required from our end for the EPR target, we will have to transfer those credits to the annual report. For that, we will have to move on to the credit exchange page. After that, we will have to select the add new button. Once we select the add new button, this page will pop up where you can select the type of the credits you need to procure, the category of the credits, and then you will have to select the add to annual report button in the operations. The financial year, the available credits, and the target credits. Once all of this is done, you will have to select the denominations, and then you can hit the submit button to transfer the credits into the EPR annual report. Next slide, please. Yes. So once the credits have been transferred to the EPR annual report, you can see it in the annual report page. Once your EPR targets achieved and your EPR target is equal or more than that, then you can see the remarks as closed. Once this is closed, no EC shall be levied to you. Next slide, please. Yes. Once the EPR credits are in place, we move on to the EPR target adjustment. Please note that this is only applicable to the producers. As per the circular dated 7th June 2023 by CPCB, the producers can make a target adjustment based on the sales made in the previous year. For example, if you have supplied or sold your product to a producer who was not to a supplier who was not registered onto the portal but is now registered before the annual return, you can give out all of the details, all of the sale details made to that producer or the supplier, and then you can adjust your target. Based on that, you will receive a revised EPR target, which you will need to fulfill. For that, please keep in mind, you will have to report the zipped invoices as well and a detailed statement of the sales made to that supplier in the previous year. Next slide, please. Once all of this is completed, you can review your EPR annual report. And if you find any discrepancies, you can correct it. If the report is good to go, you can pay the annual processing fees. Please note that the annual processing fees is 25% of your registration fees. After paying the fees, you can hit the submit button, and that's how you will submit a successful EPR report in PWMR. Thank you very much. Here I close.
Thank you, Ishika. Now, Ipsita will explain the violations related to annual return filing under the plastic waste management rules and the penalties related to the same.
Thank you, Yugandhara. Thank you, Bharat and Ishika, for explaining the entire process of annual return filing under the e-waste and plastic waste management rules. The environmental compensation are in detail defined under the plastic waste management rules, and CPCB has released a guidance document towards the same. Talking about the annual return filing for PIBOs over here, the deadline for filing their returns till date is 30th of June 2024. In case there is no extension, then as per the guidelines, you'll get the deadline for filing is 30th of June. Post the deadline, if you are still not able to file the annual returns, you'll get the timeline till 6th of July 2024, wherein a mere charge of rupees 5,000 would be applicable as EC. In case you have still not filed the annual returns till 6th of July, you'll still get a timeline till 11th of July to file the annual returns with a mere EC of rupees 10,000 rupees. Post 20th of July, the application will be auto-filed, the annual returns will be auto-submitted on the portal, and you will not get any chance to submit the annual returns thereafter.
So I hope you all had an insightful session. Before we move, Ipsita here will brief you all about A2G and scale of services we provide.
Thank you, Yugandhara. So EE Garg & Co., we are a management consulting firm, and we are practicing in the fields of EPR, ESG, corporate finance and business solutions, and provide tech-based solutions. Our team is a 60-member plus team, and we are here sustainability experts, environmental engineers, MBAs, chartered accountants, technical experts, and partners. We have a profile of 200 plus clients, out of which 30 plus companies are Fortune 500. We have a client retention rate of 90%, collective experience of 50 plus years, and have served more than 200 companies till date. Moving on. I'll be briefing you about the services that we provide under the domain of EPR. For the compliances, we perform the services of registration, post-registration compliances, which include your transaction details uploading, your EPR credit procurement advisory, and filing the annual returns. For the risk assessment part, we proceed with the project management and traceability review. The compliance risk assessment, which helps you to understand that how much compliant are you, or how much compliance are you following under the respective waste management rules. We do perform the recycler or the PWP risk assessment so that you remain confident at your end with which partner you are working. We also provide on-site reviews of the waste collection centers. In addition, we also do the consulting and advisory in helping you assess your footprint with respect to plastic, e-waste, battery waste, tire, or any other rules that are applicable under EPR. We provide you advisory and consulting towards the circularity operations that are compliant and that you will be obligated from. We help you in maintaining the SOPs for your corporate structure, identifying that what all processes must be followed. And yes, we also do training and capability building sessions such as this to help you and your employees aware about the rules and how the compliances need to be followed.
Once again, thank you all for joining us today. I conclude this session by wishing you the best in this annual filing season. Thank you.